I know that one time I was talking to my therapist because I see one regularly, and I was saying to her that I was afraid to that some things would come out about some shameful experiences that I had had, and that in my mind, because of those things, that I doubted after I divorced if I was gonna ever really find somebody or meet somebody who would be okay, who would be okay with me. I felt so much shame, right? And she said, Juanita, anybody who is interested in you will have conversations with you about whatever it is you feel. And I was like, okay, that was helpful. So that just being able to relinquish your leadership role and then to allow yourself to be vulnerable. I ain't saying that it's easy. It's hard. So it's hard, but just work with it. Figure out what it looks like. Get support if you need it. But you're going to always hear me say, like, the sweet spot is just to heal. Because when I have healed and peeled back some of those layers, that me, that person, that esteem, that confidence, it all just happens naturally. The way I relate to people, meeting new friends and new people and taking on new initiatives, it happens naturally. I don't have to work for a thing. But then another thing I want to talk about with regard to quality relationships is being able to set those explicit boundaries, right? So understanding that when it comes to housework, let's say, or let's just use the kids as one, because some people say he's babysitting. The father of your kids babysitting, right? I didn't understand a lot of things when I was married, but one things I did know is he wasn't babysitting. They were his kids. He was sitting with his kids. But when it comes to other things around the house, who's owning it? Is the language around the house, I'm helping you with the dishes? Or are we owning the dishes when it's our turn to do dishes? That's a joint project, depending on the nature of your relationship. But as women, sometimes those roles don't roll off of us. Those traditional household roles don't roll off of us. It's our responsibility to renegotiate that. So that we have those those clear boundaries, because otherwise we're going to be unhappy, man. And we're going to be mad at other people. We're going to be taking it out on the people around us rather than having the conversations that we need to have and make sure that people are clear on our boundaries. And sometimes we don't want to talk about those because we're afraid that it's going to upset the space to the point where someone wants to leave us. People who love you are not going to leave you because you set boundaries. They're not. All right. So, but there are some consequences for hanging out in unhealthy relationships. So one of the things is that got to take deep breaths on this stuff, yeah, because listen, I'm talking about it. It's real stuff. Like I have some of these things really hit me at my core. And you might hear me sometimes take deep breaths because I'm still working it through, because it was some real stuff when I was going through it, or maybe I just I don't know, for whatever reason, but it's real stuff, right? It's the stuff that we deem ourselves to be weak if we talk about, or if we admit, because we're strong and we're smart. We kind of want to hang our hat there, but we're not. We're also human. Right. And if we can't be human for ourselves, meaning understanding that we have feelings and needs, and we're not going to be human to anybody else. We can't get mad when people see us as somebody who doesn't have needs. Right. And we need to learn how to communicate those. And boundaries is one thing. So what happens if you're hanging around and these things and these unhealthy relationships? Well, one of the things is that your confidence is going to tank. Like, that's when you start putting on that mask every day. Your knowledge, your expertise kind of becomes the mask of confidence, because you can sit down and you can talk about it all, right? But the confidence around really building up and building out and showing up like whole, it's not really there, right? So that confidence leak is really real. And so we can sometimes be in relationships where we're belittled for our wins, or there's some passive aggressive comments about who we are, because our partners, our families will know us differently and more intimately than our colleagues, right? And so they may start to say or point out those negative things or those not so good things or those areas where you struggle. And it really makes us begin to doubt ourselves and really offset who we are, let's say in the boardroom. We feel it in our bodies and it impacts who we are. So, and then over time, it's just going to erode sort of your executive presence. And so it might interfere with you like going for the next level. And yeah, because you want support. Like being a leader is hard and it's lonely. And if you really think about, okay, I am doing this leadership thing and this one has come as an option. And depending on what your friendships are like, maybe they can be supportive. But if they're not in order, they're not intact, or family situations on, that confidence that you can actually do it will erode. Even though you know the skill set is there, that inner feeling or knowing, that energy won't allow you, it's not there, won't allow you to go for it. Quality relationships are important professionally, but mostly personally. It ripples out. So unhealthy relationships where people are coming for you in those small ways, please know that they are having an impact. Don't ignore them. Don't ignore them. Even if sometimes you don't know what to do with them right away, because you're going to get them. And sometimes I don't know what to do with them. So I give myself some time to figure out and talk to friends or whatever, but don't ignore them. But the other thing is you can begin to feel really cluttered in your head and in your space, right? It's called burnout. Like you really, really are tired. Like you know that you can do a thing. You know you had the skill set to do a thing. You know you're highly capable, but you're just tired. And so that definitely, I've experienced that a few times in my in my professional career, and it takes time to undo that. It really does. That's not something that goes away really easily. That comes with a lot of intentionality about setting boundaries, renegotiating the workspace, renegotiating at home, and stopping to take time for yourself and truly, truly loving and making yourself a priority. That's what that takes. This is one last thing that I want to bring up here. And, this to me is just, it's moving. I'm just saying as a woman who's professional, yeah, and who's raised kids, long-term marriage. I mean, all the things that somebody said was the thing that was gonna, bring it all my way, whatever that was. This idea of being trapped in an emotional dump because of bad toxic relationships, because maybe there is someone competing with you. My experience is I was never, I'm laughing. This shit ain't funny. I don't know. Sometimes I don't know why I laugh, but it is what it is. I'm happy that I'm not dealing with it these days. But I had to realize at one point that any accomplishment that I made wasn't going to make a difference because somebody was sabotaging my emotional space. Because as long as I was in an emotional dump, they had complete control of me. I wasn't pursuing much. I was showing up every day, doing what I had to do, more than what I had to do. I was pretty good. But if I had had support, oh my God, there was almost nothing that I wouldn't have been able to do. But once I was able to release some of the burden of some of these relationships that really weren't in support of me, unless I was on board with what their goals and their initiatives were, and I didn't talk too much and I didn't challenge them, and I didn't want to move beyond the box that they had set for me, then I was good. But the minute I wanted to be Jay, then those relationships, and sometimes I feel like, I felt like the butt of the joke, right? For me, I had this whole way of trusting people. Like I wouldn't do some of the things that people have done. And I was really naive to some things. I'm not a victim. I'm just saying that, that this emotional, keeping you in a space where you are an emotional mess, is going to maintain their control over you, whoever they are. Because it's not only in intimate relationships that this happens, right? If you're in a place where someone's competing with you and they're rocking your boat, honey, it ain't much progress that you're gonna make in that. If somebody just wants to experience you and keeps pulling you in and out, and this can be anybody, it can be your children, it can be your parents, it just takes an unhealthy mind. It takes somebody who doesn't really understand what healthy relationships are, and it becomes your responsibility to listen to what your cues are about whether or not these relationships are healthy for you. And that comes down to how you feel in them. Like, are they reciprocal? Like, are they give and take? Do you feel like you are getting as much as you're giving, or are you leaving them impotent? I know that I left lunch with a friend, a female friend, feeling impotent one day. And I knew that was it for me. I had been so open with this person, and when I asked the same in return, it was just real short and very direct. And for some reason, that person wanted to be in my life, though, but it wasn't to have a reciprocal relationship that was vulnerable, and that was that included sharing their own messiness or their own concerns. It was for something else. And I, at that point, wasn't interested in hanging around to find out. So that's a different type of a relationship, right? But that intimate relationship is the core that ripples into all the other ones. And that relationship is the one that you have with yourself. How you feel about yourself, how you take care of yourself, how you're looking out for yourself before and above anyone else. That means your kids, and that means your husband or your partner or your work or your mama or your daddy. So we will say over and over again that we're inspired by our children. I just want to be my best self for my children. And maybe that worked for you for a while. When your children go up and start doing their own thing and they ain't thinking about you, then what? That's painful, right? It's all right. You're going to get through it. But I'm just saying that knowing and understanding that you have to be on the front line for you, that when you wake up in the morning, you're doing that for you. And that when you stop and give yourself time, you're not neglecting other people. You're taking care of you so that you can show up whole for other people. So I just want you to be mindful of those relationships. I want you to vet them like you vet every other one. Don't go head first into them. Get out of the whole idea of, oh, it's so loving and, being kind of on that high end of being in love or on the low end of being depressed. A good relationship is easy. It's easy, right? People who love you want to hear who you are and what you have to say. And when you love yourself and you can hear yourself, you're able to attract those people, and you're also able to show up for them that way too. I'm going to stop here. Just going to ask you to leave any comments that you have. Follow us on Instagram at the She Spot _Dr. J, and share this with your network of professional, self-aware, accomplished women, and let's get it. Okay, I will talk to you soon. Bye.